So, here it is. Star Wars is in the cinema. Let's talk about that. Going into Star Wars at the midnight showing, you could tell that it still has a loyal fan base because this cinema, the whole complex was packed. And I'm talking, there are 9 screens in the cinema I go to. 7 of them were doing the midnight showing. It was insane. The queue was stretching out the door for the food and drink line. Kind of glad I didn't get any, because I probably would have been late. Star Wars The Force Awakens starts off 30 years where Return of the Jedi left, and in this we have 3 new major factions. We have the New Republic, which was established after the Return of the Jedi, First Order, which is now the Galactic Empire if they just got up and went somewhere else, and fighting the First Order is the Resistance, led by General Leia. It's so nice to see that the films have still stayed true to themselves. Going into The Force Awakens, you still see the old with the new. For instance, having these long black and white hallways which denotes the Galactic Empire, and the fact that they still have these very, very old looking technology, but it's now 30 years later, for us it's 2015, it just makes it so much nicer. The new cast is absolutely fantastic. We've got Finn, or FN2187, played by John Boyega, who does this just a great job of trying to run away from the fight all the time. You can tell he's not really a soldier at all, but he just gets pulled into this conflict which he really doesn't want to be in. So he's kind of a coward, but that just makes him such an interesting character who we still don't really know a lot about. One of the main forerunners now is the scavenger, Rey, played by Daisy Ridley. Rey is probably going to be the forerunner of the entire trilogy. She's got such a charisma about her, and her story isn't fully known yet, and there's still we still have details that we're speculating on, and that just makes it so much nicer. Also, new to the pack is Poe Dameron, who's just the Han Solo of the group. He is just this happy-go-lucky, talk-back-to-you cocky pilot. But when he flies, he has got some great sequences when you can tell, yeah, fair enough, you can actually fly an X-Wing pretty well. And also, we've got the new droid, BB-8, who is just this great little ball of happiness, which I can't think of anyone that's not going to like him, because we have, obviously, the big grandfather droid, R2-D2, and even above him, C-3PO. But BB-8 has just got this... BB-8 represents what I think new fans will be like when they see this, that they will literally be going around and saying like, oh! That was a terrible impression of BB-8. We've got the old coming back for the new. We've got Han Solo in this, obviously played brilliantly by Harrison Ford in this, and he's got much more well-rounded character in this because everyone is older, everyone is wiser, everyone has grown up. The old conflicts that happened in the original trilogy, Star Wars 4, 5 and 6, are now considered near myths, and they're just relics. So it's great to see these old characters just playing relics of the people they once were, and how much they've changed and grown. We also have Carrie Fisher returning as General Leia this time, head of the Resistance. And again, she's not in it for that much, but you can tell that she still has this great persona about her. People still see her as this figure to follow and to be led by, which is fantastic, which is great. Also returning are, of course, R2-D2. He's there for it. C-3PO, he's also there for it. Great little additions. Luke Skywalker, he's in it, but his scene is just too good to spoil and talk about, so I'm not going to. Go and see the film, you'll know what I'm talking about. Also, well done J.J. Abrams and your team, because you have pulled off some of the best shots I've ever seen in the modern Star Wars films, without a doubt. There are amazing, just huge pans, and in the distance you can see crashed Star Destroyers. You can also, there's TIE fighters silhouetted against sunsets. There is great little just pan round characters, things you would have never seen in the prequel trilogies, but they were so common back in the originals, and it's so great to see that this amount of craft and care and dedication has gone into something which they clearly all feel very strongly for and all love. It's not to say everything about this film was perfect. There were some bits in it which could have maybe been a bit better, more than likely. For instance, some of the characters are kind of just shoehorned in a bit, and they don't really have a lot of persona, but that I can forgive that because, in my opinion, it's just because they were trying to get the originals back to give the fans the service that they need. Also, I hate to say it, the big twist in this you can see coming a mile away. I could see it, and all my friends could. I'm not going to spoil it, but just see if you can work it out what it is before it happens. It's a shocking moment, but when it happens, you kind of lost the impact because you were like, oh, well, I know this is going to happen because I've worked it out for myself. This film also plays it incredibly safe. There is a new threat in this, but it doesn't really feel like much of a threat because you sort of can guess what's going to happen to it. Also, there are scenes in there which are, I think, just copied straight from A New Hope. There's a bit near the end where I was sitting in the cinema and Poe Dameron is about to do this amazing flight, and I'm looking at that going, I've seen that before. I've definitely seen that before. So this film plays it safe, but it plays it safe because it's setting up the whole new trilogy, similar to how A New Hope played it very safe at the time. Also applause to the props department and also the CGI and practical effects department. J.J. Abrams said we were going to go into this film seeing practical effects blended with CGI. There are obvious CGI shots in there, but there's also practical effects in which you notice as well. And that's just such a good... I'll say the word again, it's a good fan service for people that enjoy it. And I left the cinema with more questions than I had answers. I wanted to immediately go out of the cinema and go and see episode 8. Because not all... You will have questions in this film, but not all of them are going to be answered. And I think this is what makes it great and why I think this trilogy could be set up to be a very good trilogy. Because not all of your questions will be answered until the end. And I think that's fantastic. Guys, at the end of the day, Star Wars is back and it is bigger and better than ever before. If you're a Star Wars fan, you have to go and see this film. There's no, you should go and see it, you have to go and see it. If you're not a Star Wars fan, go and see it anyway. Because this is a brand new chapter, a brand new storyline. So, even if you don't like the old Star Wars films, you can probably enjoy these ones. Star Wars The Force Awakens is a popcorn blockbuster. So that's my review of Star Wars The Force Awakens. If you have... Did you disagree? Do you agree? Let me know. I love to hear from you guys. I love to hear in the comments. I love to see you guys telling me about this because I know my friends watch this, so I'm going to debate with you when I see you. Join me for my next video when I tell you that these really aren't the droids that you're looking for. Sorry.